Good morning, everyone. On the behalf of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, I, CA Ganesh Chaudhary, welcome you all to the today's webinar on data protection and cyber hygiene for the chartered accountants. It is an honor for me to moderate this important session where we will explore the critical aspect of data protection and the practices that can safeguard us from the cyber threats in our professional and personal lives. In the today's digital era, as a chartered accountant, we are not only custodian of the financial information, but also responsible for safeguarding the sensitive data against cyber risk. Cyber security and data protection are fast becoming the essential areas us to master to ensure we manage risk, comply with the regulation, and maintain the trust. It is my privilege to acknowledge our chairman, C. A. Dayanivas Sharma sir, whose vision in strengthening the professionals through digital assurance has laid the foundation for the important discussion like today's on data protection and cyber hygiene. I also extend my gratitude to our Vice Chairman, Sir CA Arpit Kabra, sir, for his dynamic guidance and continued effort in promoting innovation and digital safety for the chartered accountants. There, sir.
Thank you very much, Ganesh, and good morning to all. Good morning to my two important faculties, Saurabh ji and Pranay ji. Thank you very much for making it possible to come on a Saturday morning and share. This is a unique session which we have planned over a period of, spread out period, primarily on alternate weeks, rather than making it as a weekly event. So, friends, today's topic. Last time we had a different discussion. This time we have more interesting discussion with regards to the data protection and cyber hygiene. Friends, in this process, what is very important is the sensitivity and the critical role which a chartered accountant is playing in these two areas. We all have to understand. If you don't understand this part, the challenge is on a higher risk, not a risk. It is a higher risk. I think Saurabh and Pranay both will agree to it that it is undoubtedly a higher risk. From that point of view, I'll share data protection. Data today is lying in your computer systems of your clients. So I'll take two examples or three examples before I conclude my discussion. So, one, data primarily when we talk about from a practicing chartered accountant, huge amount of data has been collected and is placed in our systems. Whether it is income tax return, sometime it is a bank return, sometime it is. Uh, oh, sorry, one second. Is it audible, Pranay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible,
Right.
sir.
Okay. So, what I'm trying to tell is basically when we see from a practicing chartered accountant point of view, the data which is lying in your computer systems is whether it is a bank account statements, whether it is income tax returns, whether it is a net worth certificate, whether it is a financial statement. And today, what is happening is all of us are connected with the idiot box which is called as Wi-Fi, and none of them understand that that Wi-Fi have to have a different kind of protection, otherwise the fraudster or the cyber security attack can comfortably happen. मतलब ये है कि आप if you don't understand the importance of data and its protection, and I'll tell you, this is data, this is cyber security, in between is the process, in a very simple term, right? The data is lying in your system, and the entire process, if it is you are keeping, if the data is not rightly protected, it is like keeping the door open of your house and going home without you going to office or wherever you are. So the point is, how do you protect this data? How do you put certain barriers in the process? How do you put the firewall? What kind of data, and how the user interface is to be created because of multiple factors, whether I am accessible to your data or not, he is accessible. Who is accessible to the data is one very critical important thing which you need to make a policy in your organization itself, so that the right person only can be given access of the information which is required to be taken, right? So that when you talk from a company employee point of view, lot of financial information is lying, lot of information which is very secretive is lying in your system. And today, as everyone says, the new oil is data. And this data, if it is pulled out at a right time or a wrong time, just imagine what kind of, and there is example, just imagine you are doing an audit. The audit is going on for a particular quarter or a half year or an annual period. And that is the time where people get to know, okay, this is the company in which I need to get the information out. And the data is not been rightly protected in the process. The biggest challenge is the information which we are talking about insider trading. Forget insider trading. Before insider get to know, also he'll pull out the entire data, analyze the entire thing, and tell, okay, this is the profitability of the company going to be. How critical it is becoming as an employee of an organization, how well you need to protect your entire information system in your system itself is very critical. Then when you talk about consultants, consultants also are today trying to give their best advice. But the problem is people till the time we don't feel the heat, we do not take things serious. So today's discussion on data protection is coming from that particular point of view, why you need to take this data protection process very seriously, and how that need to be maintained is something which will be given by no other person than Saurabh himself. Saurabh has been a great faculty in the institute. He's been participating in a large manner, and his idea and knowledge, being a IITN and also a person, though might not be a chartered accountant, people can, if I had an opportunity to give honorary degree, I would have given these two people both honorary degree of chartered accountants because they are very closely working with institute and its members on a continuous basis. So, Saurabh, my request to you is this data protection, which is primarily becoming critical day by day to pull out information because sensitivity of data today all is numbers and processes or technologies the other side, but technically everything converts into number only. So if we are able to guide our clients how the data protection can happen, that is one request which I have. With go with a practical example rather than theoretical, that will actually give them an understanding, okay, this might impact like this. So if we are able to show the impact well, I think the issue is very comfortable. And more importantly, Pranay, for you on the cyber hygiene, fundamental things which today, example, in a chartered accountant office, in my own office, my administrative head, she was just trying to pay certain amount to some person, her son, and within no time 85,000 rupees are being debited to her account without knowing. And when she was seeing continuously, sir, mere paise ja rahe. I immediately told, shut down the phone immediately, shut down the phone immediately. Then she shut down the phone. That amount was 85,000 rupees. If she would have kept it, and an employee losing out 85,000 is 2 months' salary, boss.
Yes, sir.
It is not something which is very easy. So what I'm trying to tell you is, might be a youngster, might be a kid in the family, he has taken a mobile by mistake, he opened the banking app at that point in time, because fraudsters are doing what? Is basically they are a continuous hitting on the screens, which is the weak section, how it has been done, what is to be done. So anything, because it is a algorithm which is being planned in such manner, the moment the app is open, you pick it up and pull it out, and you will talk in detail about that process. Not only that, but today when our chartered accountants are making payments of clients,
Yes, sir.
this is a real thing, huh? Payments of client of taxes from their account. The they are accessing their entire banking network, right? And there are different kind of impact which is happening. So what kind of basic things they need to maintain in a systematic manner? मेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए प्रणय कि है ना साइबर सिक्योरिटी ये होता है वो होता है. मेरे को चाहिए माय मेंबर शुड बी इन पोजीशन टू अंडरस्टैंड, okay, this is the minimum thing which I need to maintain. Example, if I'm using a mobile app, I need to close the mobile app so that it is not opened at the back end and no one can attack. So these kind of things, maybe a little more on this, routers and
Yes,
the
sir.
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
How the firewall need to be put. It might cost today
Yes, sir.
5-10,000 rupees, but that 5-10,000 rupees is going to save their, I don't know how many lakhs of rupees. And most importantly, for both of you, please, the biggest impact for a chartered accountant is the image.
Image, sir.
Client will not understand the cyber attack can happen on him. My data was well protected. But the point is, my data gaya, mera data gaya, and he'll
Hmm.
create an entire ecosystem, negative ecosystem. So my request to you both is, in this session, when you are going to take these people through, I want you to kindly talk on the ground of
Yes, sir.
what we will go step by step upward, like we have done in AI also. So my request to you people is, just see from that perspective how my chartered accountants, whether in practice, whether in industry, and their families, which they can tell their wife, they can tell their children that, look, this is something which you need to maintain. If
Yes,
that is achieved, I think stage one is achieved for us, and then we'll go forward. Friends, I can tell you one thing, it is coming as a new opportunity for chartered accountants in a big way, because there are no other people who can understand the money's worth and the fraud values which are actually hitting the entire screens in a big way. The government of India, including the Reserve Bank of India, is actually working on continuous awareness programs on cybersecurity and data protection. We might be seeing multiple videos, multiple reels, multiple advertisements which are coming on the TVs to make people understand. And today, please understand, you are one such warrior where you solve problems of your clients in different capacities. And this problem also of your clients, rather than making it come to them and then they come to you and then you bill them. बट हमारा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का एक प्रॉब्लम है, सौरभ और प्रणय, जब हमारा प्रॉब्लम ऐसा है कि व्हेन क्लाइंट कम्स विद द प्रॉब्लम, वी हमारा दिल बहुत वीक है एंड वी गिव एवरीथिंग फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट,
yes, sir.
right? And this, even if they come after the attack, nothing can be done.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is better that we tell our chartered accountants that, this is a very good professional opportunity. Create it as a protective tool rather than a detective tool,
Detective tool.
because protective tool is going to actually give them a lot and lot of respect in the ecosystem, and people will start appreciating. Friends, it is just matter of couple of steps that you need to understand and you need to learn. And these two gentlemen who have come today are going to take you through this entire learning experience. My best wishes to you for this learning. And one request is, on a personal note, ठीक है, leave it. I'll talk it later. So we will uh, start moving forward. Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you, Daya sir.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir.
Ganesh sir,
Chairman.
please,
Thank
please.
you, sir, for your inspiring words and guidance with this. We now move to our technical session for the today's webinar. It is my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, sir. Is an educational leader with over 17 years of experience in higher education and edtech industry. He has contributed extremely in academic framework, business development, student outreach, and innovation in the education. Dr. Maheshwari sir is also an author and a startup mentor, passionate about the enhancing learning and digital growth. We are privileged to have him with us today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ganesh, and thank you, Daya sir, for setting up the tone. It was actually a serious matter what sir has already pointed, and I am sure the initial speech of yours, wherein I am going to put recent examples with my co-CF friends and all, whom I was able to interact with multiple sessions with my DAP or AI committees and all. I'll tell you what has actually happened, and then the seriousness of cyber security will actually, or maybe data protection is actually being highlighted, or maybe put on up into our table in a very programmed or structured manner. Friends, in last 12 months, because of my excessive travel of AI batches and all, I witnessed three major issues in three different parts of the city, country, and all the three issues were with chartered accountants. So I'll mention the city, but I'll not mention the name of the respective city or maybe the identity. I was there in Bhilwara, and there was a data hack with a leading chartered accountant who has lost the entire data on his system. Before he was able to communicate with me, the data was lost out. And the biggest problem was there was no BCP, there was no continuity planning. So we have to invest around a lakh rupees to get the data back. I'm not talking about the money invested, I'm talking about the problem he has incurred because of that data loss, the credibility loss, the client satisfaction loss, and the reputation loss, which has resulted to him. I was being communicated about an hour from the incident, but was unable to take it back because there was no data protection, there was no control, and there was no BCP. The loss was of 1 lakh rupees, which we have to incur to get our data back with the professionals and all. But there were two more situations which has happened in Jaipur and in Chandigarh. So in Jaipur, there was a big ransomware attack on a leading chartered accountant whose data was completely encrypted. The luckiest part was that the ransomware attack was not so strong enough, and they were able to communicate with me on a right time. And we were able to take the entire data out of that ransomware attack because ransomware attack was not of that intensity. And entire money was saved, entire data was saved. There was not a penny spent for it, and we were able to recover from there. Similarly, there was a very big impersonation attack on, again, a leading chartered accountant from Chandigarh, who identity on the digital platforms, which includes his bank credentials, which includes his digital identification, even the phone hacking and all, everything was systematically planned within few hours. That entire phone communication, entire professional communication, entire financial communication, which was supposed to happen with him, was happening with someone else. And someone else was an attacker who have intentionally impersonated the entire identification of that chartered accountant. Although again, within a particular timeline, we were able to recover almost everything and was able to save money, although there was few thousand rupees lost out. But I still believe that whatever the problem which could have happened because of this, we were able to save it, and few thousand rupees is nothing. But after these three incidences, these three chartered accountants have not only been implementing securities, implementing data protection at their own end, but also are now in a position of spreading the awareness to their respective clients and also to the fraternity. So friends, data protection and cyber hygiene was the topic which me and Pranay sir is going to take today. Is not the need of the hour, it's need of the minute. We all have to understand that you as a chartered accountant are the custodians, the word which is rightly being pointed out by Ganesh, that you are the custodians of data. And as a custodian, there is a huge and humongous responsibility that lies on your shoulder. You, without being aware of what exactly the data protection is, what are the ways of data protection, and what data should fall under protection criteria, you are executing a business profession with full capacities. But that full capacity from your professional practices is perfectly fine. But from cyber attackers' point of view, it is opening up the doors. So let's talk about that. Fine. So first, I'll begin with a small concept, which is what is data privacy, what is data security, and what is data protection. So let's understand the basic fundamentals of it. And obviously, me and Pranay sir, the only focus of ours is to make you aware of certain tools and techniques and steps that can be implemented from just after the session to make sure that you are in a protected zone. Right. So I'll begin with a small table, and I think although it is self-discriminatory, but I'll try to put up an effort to explain it out. See, data privacy focus on the rights of an individual. That is, you as an individual, I as an individual has certain rights related to our personal data. That who can collect, who can share, and who can process that particular data. The data which we have related to our identification, which includes your biometrics, which includes your Aadhaar details, which includes your bank account details, that is coming under the concept of data privacy, because that is important enough to disclose your individual identifications. But the data what we have, like your email IDs, your phone numbers, find your name, your office address, this is never under data privacy. And this is not a data privacy related part because we are sharing it for the sake of our business growth. But when few things combined up together, like your phone number combined with your medical records, that becomes a data privacy, right? Your phone number combined with your Aadhaar card, that becomes data privacy. So understand, we as an individual have to make sure that our privacy data should not be stored, collected, shared, disseminated, processed by somebody whom we have not given permission. And that too also, when we are giving permission, our permission may be binded in a time frame. So make sure, apart from the time frame, the data processing related permission should not be there with anybody, and that is called data privacy. So privacy of an individual, that is a right of mine. And this right is given to us at multiple platforms by government agencies, and DPDP Act talks about data protection of the data which is falling under privacy norms. So we'll talk about that. So what can be done? That is the security part of it. What can be done? So the technical and procedural mechanisms that protect the data. So that is unauthorized access, loss, corruption, sharing of data. All this has to be taken care of. Right. So if a client of yours is sharing certain privacy information with you, now that becomes a liability on you to protect that data in the best possible manner. So you have to create an ecosystem for data protection, not only of yours, but also of your client, because now the data protection comes as a part of it. Make sense? Now, what exactly or how it can be done? Can you focus on the last para or last column of it? Sorry, row of it. So as an individual, we have to make sure the data collection abilities, access and deletion abilities should be there precisely maintained. As an individual, when you are talking about storing of the client data or maybe their income tax return data and then the financial data for about 5, 7, 8 years and all, thereafter data deletion is also a mechanism. So you cannot just put the delete button or format the hard drive. That is not the right way for deletion. Right way for deletion start from a process called data trashing. So you should not delete directly, you should not format directly, you should start from the data trashing, then leads to deletion, and then leads to formation of that particular drive or formatting of that particular drive. And this particular sequence, the probability of data being into somebody else's custody, if somebody else wants to retrieve your deleted data, become negligible. Right? So understand that parameter. When it comes to data security, let's focus on, we have to use secure softwares. And secure software includes multiple things, which Pranay and I are going to talk about it. And one of them could be firewall implementation and configuration on the regular basis. Right? So what is firewall? Firewall is a filter mechanism which is installed between the public domain and the private domain. Private domain is your official work, official network, and public domain is everything else apart from your office. It's public. Whenever you are communicating between private and public domain, there has to be a firewall configured which filters the data packets which are flowing over the network, and anything and everything which is not falling under the prescribed permitted data flow should be blocked by the firewall. That is what the purpose of firewall is. Apart from that, before circulation of any data, I will give you a tool and a demo as well, that encryption, which you all know, end-to-end encryption methodology. Make sure you are employing or applying these methodologies on the regular basis when you are circulating very sensitive information over the network. And then comes secure software. So I've always requested you all in my sessions also in multiple platforms that make sure you are using the licensed version of the software, a licensed anti-malware software installed on your device, regularly updated. Apart from that, make sure that you are giving the access privileges of every software in a very systematic manner. That means you should have a log and a control mechanisms to monitor all those things. Correct? And when it comes to data protection, we are only talking about CIA of the data, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, and making sure that whatever the rules, laws, regulations which are in place for the time being, we are following the rules and laws to avoid any non-compliance related part. So understand, data privacy and data security and data protection are three different parts. Protection is the entire ecosystem. Security is talking about technical tools we are employing, and privacy talking about the right of an individual, which ensures that data of an individual should be used, circulated, processed, disseminated under the permission of that individual and in a very systematic manner. Now let's talk about certain data so that you know what are the biggest data breaches, and primarily talking about the Indian scenarios, right? So I'll be sharing a web page to you, which will let you know that what actually data breaches which has happened all over the world. And I hope you are able to see my screen. So what's biggest data breaches? Fine. And I'm only focusing on Indian part because let's talk about from that prescribed perspective. So for Indian citizens, how many of you know that one of the biggest data breaches in 2019 was of Indian citizens, wherein 275 million data points have been exposed? Fine. When it comes to Aadhaar data, I hope you all are aware that our Aadhaar data has also been compromised by someone, although our biometric credentials are saved, but other data has been compromised, and that was in 2017, which was again the biggest attack in the data breaches segment in 2017. Then comes Indian Railways, your Indian Airways. Fine, even your biggest of the organizations have faced data breaches. Your Indian Railway data breach was 2024 scenario, wherein there was somewhere around uh, employees data of the entire Indian Railways, which includes their entire bank account details, their DA, and other details, including their identification information. Everything was breached out in 2023. And data breaches related attacks are not, what do you say, rare. These are like very frequent. And even AT&T, the United Health Insurance, the National Public Data of US, the Indonesian Health Agency data, the Facebook data, which was a major case, which was like 533 million data points have been lost out. Right? So this particular graph and the bubbles which are shown out here shows the frequency of the data breaches which is happening all over the world. And biggest of the organizations, which by default we treat them as a safe and a secure ecosystems, they are also being attacked by attackers. So obviously, as an individual, your and my systems are not vulnerable free, right? We are into that threat zone, threat domain, right? So let me share my PPT again to you. And this particular graph shows that problems are bigger than what we expect. And mark my words, which I have shown you is latest updated. It is updated up till September 2025. And these are selected 30,000 records or 30,000 incidences which has been placed in a diagrammatical manner just for your understanding. And these facts and figures are available online. I have not created anything, and that's the reason I have shown you the direct website from where this particular information is extracted. Fine, you can see I am showcasing you again. This is the selected events of 2025 up till September 2025, 30,000 records, 30,000 cases. So every year, I think the space is lesser to project. Every year since the digitalization era has begun, the bubbles are increasing exponentially. So from 2015, if you talk about, till 2025, we are still in 2 months, 3 months timeline for 2025, but still the entire chart has been flooded by bubbles. That clearly states that problem is much bigger than what we are actually thinking. Now on the other side, let's talk about the live cyber mapping and live attacks which are happening all over the world. I'm sure that many of you might have witnessed this particular slide before also, but as many of you have never been seen the live threats which are happening all over the world. Can you see that? These are like scanners. They are scanning the systems. Fine attacks are happening. Denial of service attacks are happening. These color combinations are showcasing you different sort of attacks happening all over the world. And you won't believe that we are the third most attacked country in the world, with 21% of the global attack pointed towards India. This number is humongous enough as compared to the population we are having, as compared to the security controls we are having. Right? US and Switzerland is equal to countries. Obviously, rather than saying number 3, I should say we are number 2 in the world, which are top attack nations. And this is the real-time scenario, which is showcasing you the real-time picture of today. Right? It is not an outdated part. Then let's talk about another issue which is happening all over the world, which is like a company which is Casper Sky, right? And I'm sure you are aware of, or maybe using some sort of anti-malware software of Casper Sky, is putting the real-time data of attacks all over the world in a very, very informative mode, which is classifying the data as what do you say, on-demand scans, malware attacks, wireless attacks, intrusion detection attacks, vulnerability attacks, all these things. And see the lights which are coming out from all corners of the world. So attackers are today digitalized, or digital attack, or attackers are the one who are doing the maximum nonsense activities all over the world. So now in continuation, I will let you know that what should be done now. That's a problem statement. Now this problem statement, I'll put 3 different words for you. I'm sure few of you are from typical English background. Some of you are able to understand Hindi, but I'll put 3 words. Why the cyber attack actually happens. The reason of all cyber attacks. There are 3 words. I'll put Hindi and English both for you. How many of you are aware about lalach, alas, and dar? These are the 3 words which are pointed. So people who are greedy, who are lazy, and who can be horrified in a very easiest manner. They are the one who can be attacked in a much fastest manner. So please avoid these three characteristics from your business perspective, from your profession. Lalach, that is greediness, alas, that is laziness, and dar, that is being horrified. The attacks which are happening in the recent past related to digital arrest cases, these are all related to dar. When you click on any of the link which puts you into a trauma or into a situation wherein you feel like, okay, let's click and claim certain award points, or click and claim certain rewards, or click and claim certain what do you say, scratch coupons and all, those are all lalach, the greediness. And last comes the alas, that is the laziness part of us. So we keep on sharing our important critical data, which includes your client information, which includes your bank detail, which includes the identification detail, or maybe intellectual property and patented and copyright related things which you are filing up on behalf of your client openly on an email or openly on a social media platforms as well. So stop doing so, and that is what is laziness. So why can't we do it in an end-to-end encrypted manner? Why can't we do it in a very secure manner rather than openly circulating of images and credentials on media platforms? So please avoid these three characteristics from your individuality, that is lalach, alas, and dar, to avoid these issues. Right? Now let me give you certain other facts and figure. How many of you are aware about Data Security Council of India? Now, outstanding body which is crafted by Government of India and highlighting top issues all over the world. Fine, which already says the 2025 report says that we are one of the top targeted nations globally, because we as an individual are too much digital without knowing too much on security part. In 2024 itself, 369.01 million malware attacks were there detected in India itself. 369.01 million. That's humongous number. Right? And almost every day the cyber attacks are there, and 83% of the Indian organizations have faced cyber attack in some way or the other. 83%. I believe this number is lesser because there are certain incidents which have never been coming into public domain or not being reported. So technically 100%, if you say, I think that number could have not been an exaggerated figure. And these all are reported, which are typically targeted to the Indian ecosystems. And I'm sure if you are regularly going through the Data Security Council of India website, you will be understanding that what data issues can happen and how the protection and control mechanisms can be implemented. The data breaches which has happened all over the world, including India, let me tell you, India itself has witnessed around 13% of the global data breaches, which amount to around 220 million, that is 22 crore average cost per data breach, which is again humongous. Right? Globally, if you talk about 4.4 million was the average global data breach cost. That is, every data breach is costing around 4.4 million US dollars for an organization. And this is because of two major issues, which is ransomware and extortion. What exactly is ransomware extortion? We both will be talking about that as well. I'm just putting up certain facts and figures for you. So as an awareness part, although on awareness level, we have come up to a decent level. So aware, if you talk about from around 3% of the Indian population which was aware, today we are close to around 17%, which is slightly aware of it. But the investment of awareness, the investment of security is been declining, and that is what the point of highlighting for us. So World Economic Forum has highlighted that cyber incidents have increased, but investment on cyber security has reduced from 17% to just 4% in 2024. So investment is reducing, although the threats are increasing, because the work may be increased or the carelessness domains are increasing. Right? So smallest of the fraction invested into your cyber security makes a very big difference. Now let me again put up a small case for you, just for your understanding. I was there in Hyderabad a couple of weeks back for training of an organization who has witnessed the phishing attack. And after that phishing attack, although we were able to make their ecosystems now a safer email ecosystems, their server has been configured properly to make sure that phishing mails can be avoided to a maximum extent. But still, because of that problem, although there was no financial loss, but the organization which I am talking about, without putting their name, they are the leader in the company for filing up of patents, the domestic patents, and understand the severity of the data they are dealing in. Now, if that particular data goes open up in the public domain, the challenges could be much bigger on credibility of that organization who has been leader into filing up of patents. So for them, phishing attacks was like alarming. They have approached to a security body. We were not the one. They have approached to the security body. They have organized the entire security control mechanism. I was the one who has audited thereafter to ensure that the security controls are effectively controlled or not. So they have gone in a systematic manner, hiring two bodies, one for security implementation and one for security audit. And after auditing, I was the one who have gone for the training also related to phishing attacks, focusing only on phishing issues. Right? Now, for chartered accountant, what? Is you are the custodians of the financials and the intellectual data. 15% of the global cyber attacks are on service industries, and obviously you are from that particular domain. Average breach goes to around 4.6 million. And Indian certain, that is Computer Emergency Response Team, has highlighted that 2 million cyber incidences have happened in 2024 because 2025 report is still to be compiled. And most of the cyber attack are on BFSI sector. Banking financial sector is the most targeted sector in the country. So that is the severity of the problem, because you as an individual are maintaining the most critical data and your systems are most vulnerable systems. Fine. Or maybe systems which are easily attacked or hacked or having very less securities and controls. 2024 matrix, if you talk about, 65% of the financial organization faces ransomware attack. Now, what the ransomware is all about? Ransomware is a kind of malware which, when attack your system, encrypts the entire data. Now, having a licensed anti-malware software which is suitable for your own ecosystems is good enough. But apart from that, it is even recommended to have a ransomware scanner on a regular basis, at least on that systems on which you are storing that critical data of yours, right? And beyond that, Pranay sir is going to tell you that how to take the backup, because keeping a duplicacy or backup of your data or having a business continuity planning is critically important, for which I am going to put up a formula for you, which is 3-1 formula. We will discuss that in another 15 minutes from now. 33% of the attacks involve dual problems. So now what dual problem? Data theft and data encryption. Now that becomes another bigger issue. Now encryptions can be decrypted with the help of mechanisms, but if the threat and encryption goes hand in hand, an attacker has both, they have theft your data and encrypted also. Now we are complete, now you can be completely hand to mouth. So that's the reason BCP, business continuity planning related mechanisms, is very important, for which I am going to give you a key formula of 3-1. Right. So 77% of the Indian firms are under ransomware hit. They are not attacked or could be attacked, but they are vulnerable because they could have been attacked. That is 2023 report by Sophos. Now, Sophos is the body which takes care of a lot of cybersecurity incidents and prepare global reports for it. So the data and facts presented by them should be alarming for all of us. Now, what can be done? Point one, attackers are targeting on 3 credentials what chartered accountants are having. One is the PII, that is personal identifiable information. So make sure your IDs of yours, your clients, your customers should be protected. Your date of birth, because that is very important for opening up many documentations. Your employment data, your intellectual data, fine, your medical records, your biometric data, that all falls under personal identifiable information. And today, when most of the organization of yours, I am sure that all of you must be nodding your head now, are having some sort of biometrics for attendance, either face recognition or fingerprint recognition. So that means that data which is there with your client, but of the customers and individuals or employees which they are dealing with, stored in an unsecure manner, could lead to an identity theft of an individual. So make sure you should start giving consultancy for personal identifiable information protection within your client's ecosystems. Another data which you yourself manages and stored is the financial data. And mark my words, even your client do not have that number of financial records, data, facts, figures, and processed information as you have of your client. Account, their credit card, their login credentials, their investment, their property documentations, fine, their intellectual properties, all are lying with you. And that could be related to fraud and wired fraud. That is a targeted fraud. Then comes confidential business data, which is merger and acquisition data, tech strategies. So attackers are eyeing towards espionage and insider trading also. Now, insider trading means within the organizations, when your own employees, your own team members, your own staffs are breaching their privileges and trying to access, that's an insider issues. So these are the major three problem areas which, as a chartered accountant, you should start thinking of it, and not only thinking, first start from your own office to provide the controls to your own ecosystems, and after having a deep understanding, spread your wings and give the data security to your clients, because ultimate objective of entire efforts done by ICAI and every security bodies or security concerned bodies in the country is to make the Indian data secure. Right? So these are the three pillars of security implementation. Fine. Very specifically, again, Pranay sir will be taking much in detail of that as well. So I'll put up a briefing note for that. One, focus on multi-factor authentication. You should not talk about single factor authentication. Today, after the implementation and exploration of technology all over the world, implementing MFA, multi-factor authentication, is not a costly affair. For every login credentials, you can still talk about an OTP coming up on phone. Every biometric can be supported by certain captures to ensure that human interventions is there. So weak credentials is the biggest risk. Two-factor authentication gives you a slightly bigger risk, but rather than two, I should say we should now focus on MFA, multi-factor authentications. So your even Gmail or your Microsoft 365 talks about MFA today, but we have enabled those. Now, how to enable those? Again, Pranay sir will take care of that because we have already discussed. He is going to take care of that. Cloud security, cloud storage. Don't go for open clouding platforms. Always make sure that your clouding platforms provide you a multi-factor authentication plus the data backup and data continuity part. And if possible, if you are investing, then yes, there is a possibility of encryption also. Although for encryption, I am going to give you a tool which can give you mechanisms to implement the encryption of your own credentials, of your own data within your own server system without going to internet. Right? Let's talk about password management. Now, don't give a single password to all your platform. This has been known to all. Don't give 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 character password, again known to all. But how many of you have gone out from that level of knowing to implementing? So rather than again going for password management, today I should refer you to go for passphrases management, or passphrases are the best word. And in passphrases, let me tell you, if you are having a passphrase of 18, 17, 20 characters, the same passphrases can be applied for multiple places, because breaking the passphrase, which is alphanumeric numbers, special character, is the toughest task. So although for password, I do not recommend to give 8, 9, 10 character password to all your banking passwords, to all your login credentials and all. But when it comes to passphrases, you can give that, right? Adopt a password manager. Now, password manager keeps a strong mechanisms to share which password has been used in what manner. And it also ensures that if you are following a particular trend of password, then the password manager is going to tell you that please change your trend, because the password trend is sufficient enough to let the attackers know what could be your next password. So there are bit wardens, there are LastPass. These are password manager tools. Although few of them are paid, few of them are free, but still recommended that investing around 100, 200 rupees per month just for keeping a password, which is avoiding a bigger cyber attack on you, I think makes sense. Obviously, avoid sharing passwords on any media platforms, any files and all, which is what is recommended. Fine. And if you are sharing also, make sure you are using encrypted vaults. Now, what the vaults are, I am going to talk about. How many of you are aware about BitLocker? If you are aware about, why you are not using it? And if you are not aware about, let's start understanding that BitLocker is a tool which has been crafted by Microsoft. Fine, it's a product of Microsoft right now. And you can use that BitLocker for ensuring that every document which is critical of yours is being stored out there and shared through BitLocker. And every document in the BitLocker got encrypted by default, and the access privileges are through a login credentials, and it's not an open document thereafter. If you are not using BitLocker, I recommend you all to make sure that at least half an hour timeline can be given today or tomorrow to understand what the BitLocker is. It's a very small, very handy tool and a very systematically implemented mechanism. Half an hour given, you will be able to understand how safe mechanism it could be for your own office ecosystem. And that leads to your encryption, because I have always says that BitLocker or some sort of full disk encryption related concepts can be implemented. Now I am going to give you a demonstration in 5 minutes from now, that how to go for encryption, or what tool can be used for encryption, what are the mechanism for encryption. But make sure end-to-end encryption that is E2EE file sharing portal should be used rather than open platform for sharing. End-to-end encryption methodologies, right? So I'm going to give you a small demo for that. Let's focus. So let me give you the demo then we'll come back to this. So there is a web platform called VeraCrypt. That's a secure platform and that's a reliable platform also for the usage. You can go for VeraCrypt and let me showcase you what exactly it is. So VeraCrypt is a platform which supports all operating systems, including your Mac OS, Linux OS, and Windows OS. And it is recommended by maximum of the organization, including multiple big four clients are also using VeraCrypt for implementing the cryptographic or encryption methodology within their own ecosystem. You can download the respective version from the link. And thereafter, it's a very systematic tool wherein if you talk about the tutorial, you can see that you can create a virtual drive. You can create a virtual drive, which is not physical, a virtual drive, in which you can create your entire data and that can be encrypted with the help of VeraCrypt. So it's not entire hard disk will be encrypted. Your selected drive, either a specific drive that you want or else a virtual drive can be created which can be encrypted. And the encryption password could be a very, what do you say, secure one, and which is the only one you need to remember. This is the only password, whatever the combination of character you want, it is the only one which you have to remember. And the data placed inside it will become safer to, you can say, 99%. Because now the possibility of taking that particular data or doing a ransomware attack on that particular data or having the identity threat from that particular data is not possible. The only concern with the free version is that free version gives you a possibility of only having 250 megabytes, 250 MBs of data to be encrypted with this methodology. Thereafter, you may have to go with the paid versions. But I believe if you try to classify your data in a very systematic manner, the most critical data could be within this vicinity only. Fine. So at least if you start using it, you can get a hands-on of it. And when liked out, I think you can start the paid version for it. Obviously, to a certain extent, let me tell you, and what Sir has already pointed, investing in a small 5-10,000 rupees on a regular basis on security is what is giving you a safety mechanism for crores of data or valuable data which you are having. Correct? There is another good application which is known as SOLA. Now, what SOLA is, and I'm sure with the help of artificial intelligence related domain you are practicing into, this is again very critical for you all to understand how the SOLA can also help you out. Now, SOLA is an app gallery which gives you a audit report of the tools you are using. I'm sure few of you would be using AWS. So this particular AWS, Amazon Web Services, cloud related, if you can download this particular AWS tool, and once you scan it will give you an entire misconfiguration, critical flaws, vulnerability list of your own AWS servers or the data which you have posted into AWS. It is not going to audit AWS, it is going to audit the way in which your AWS configured cloud or what do you say, uh, customized cloud which you are using is going to is in a secured mode. Similarly, some of you who have gone through the AI batches have understand that there is something called platforms lovable, which are vibe coding platform which can be used for development of applications. Now, if you have developed applications with the help of artificial intelligence, now scanning that application is also equally important. I'm not talking about again scanning of lovable as a platform. I'm talking about scanning of the applications you have developed with the help of lovable, who accessing and from where they are accessing. So endpoint security, leaked token, unauthorized access, risk privileges, all this or sensitive data which you are exposing on a database connected to that, Supabase or API securities or API exposure, all this can be taken care of. So let me tell you, this tool SOLA is an audit tool, real-time analysis of your web-based platforms, whether it is WordPress, whether it is what do you say, Google Workspace, whatever you are using, whether the Zoom platform you are using, or if you are a tech enthusiast, GitHubs, Azure platforms, fine, entire AWS. So it's an amazing tool, what is a basket of tool which gives a real-time auditing and real-time security flaws of the platforms and tools you are using within your own ecosystems. And after knowing it, I think the security related part could be taken further because the problems can be identified going, right? And the problems are not what do you say, planned problems. They can happen to anyone at any point of time. Many of you who have exposed yourself today to the media platforms and maybe reading newspapers and all have witnessed that today even Akshay Kumar's daughter has witnessed a very big impersonation related issues, and her credentials, which are like privacy information, can be exposed, and because of which a big cyber attack could have been occurred, but that was saved because the information related point was there. And when I'm talking about information, I would like to put up another terminology in your mindset. Maximum of you knows about the control mechanisms as preventive, detective, and corrective. Preventive, detective, and corrective. But for me, all this comes secondary. The primary control is a informative control. Until unless you have the right information that what can go wrong and how it can go wrong, the controls of preventive, corrective, and detective, that is PDC control, cannot be implemented till you are having the right information. So always make sure awareness and having the right information is the topmost priority, and then only you can go for preventive, detective, and corrective related controls. Now, why these data related parts are critical today? Because the DPDP Act came into flow, and this particular act gives the power, the responsibility, and create the entire ecosystems, which can be a guiding force for all of us for the personal data protection, right? So what a chartered accountant has to do. So there's a three-step process which I recommend you all, that is known as consent, fiduciary duty, and breach reporting. So just have a look at it. What is consent? Sorry, what is consent? Consent means the permission that you are taking from it before using their data for whatever purpose. So a consent needs to be taken. So that is, you have to have a valid, verifiable, explicit consent before using the personal data for processing. Now, although for certain data, the consent can be given in a very legal manner or a documented manner from your client to you, but there are certain data for which even you cannot go for a consent because that data is not to be supposed to be shared in any manner. So that is, if you talk about the digital signatures which you might be holding on behalf of your client, even if you go with consent letter, the consent letter is not at all applicable because sharing of that in any manner is not permissible. So make sure you are having a consent letter. You should draft a consent framework wherein you take the consent from your client that, okay, these are the manner in which, or these are the data in which can be used, and these are the manner in which we are going to utilize your data. Beyond that, as a chartered accountant, you have no role, you have no responsibility, and you are not going to use that particular data. So that has to be a consent letter signed by them and has to be accepted by you, and you have to abide that you are not going to bypass that particular data in any manner. Then comes what is fiduciary duty. Your fiduciary duty is to limit the data, to restrict and draw a line that this is the safeguardness, this is the strict requirements, and beyond which the data neither should come down nor will be collected. And after the processing should be done, it has to be handed over back to the client. That is the minimum safeguardness or fiduciary duty that you have to take care of. And mandatory breach notification, that is if any breaches happens, that is also a critical part which is mentioned in DPDP Act. Any breaches which has happened, whether intentional breaches or unintentional breaches, which may affect your client's privacy, your office operational efficiency, must be reported promptly to the data protection board and the data protection officer. The contact details, the process of reporting is all being stated by Government of India in multiple platforms in multiple manner, which includes a systematic framework, a systematic process, step-by-step process, or certain email IDs are there so that you at least report them. It's not like neglecting a thing is justifying your effort. The justification happens when the reporting has to be done in a systematic manner. And for which the platforms are there, even for DPDP, there is a separate platform which is under the process of development, which will be released in next couple of days timeline, which has been already highlighted by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. That next couple of days timeline, a typical dedicated platform which is having a systematic mechanism for any data breaches, which is reported directly to the data protection board and data protection officer, will be created by government. right? And for this only, there is a CSCR framework, that is cyber security, cyber resilience framework, which is crafted, which talks about few parameters. I'm going to discuss only two out here for you. And one talks about the cyber security functions. That is, as an individual, whenever you are dealing into certain data and data which is coming up as a protected or privacy data, understand there are certain data security functions that needs to be ensured by you. You should have policies for data management, cyber risk reporting, cyber incident reporting, business planning of yours, that is governance mechanisms. Every vulnerability into your system, your asset management must be identified much in advance. And for this, you need to understand the criticalities of it, for which IR, incident response related mechanisms, can be discussed. And again, Pranay sir is going to take care of that. Then comes the protection part. Right protection needs to be ensured, right safeguardness needs to be ensured. So inclusion of anti-malware software, a firewall, a ransomware scanner, the encryption methodologies, fine, your digital vaults, all these are the protection controls. And none of them is a rocket science. These are like small tools. The way you are using WhatsApp, the similar way you can use these controls also. And then you have to detect the anomalies, that is anything which is going beyond the permissible limits, that is identify cybersecurity incidents and anomalies. So keeping a keen eye on what's happening all over the world, at least devote 10 minutes time of daily of yours to understand the cybersecurity related incidents every day. Not only reading the newspaper is going to satisfy your purpose, because that is something which is highlighted from the public domain. You have to be more focused from your office or chartered accountant perspective. Then make sure you are responding. Responding means taking the right actions and security measures to control the problems. If the problem has occurred, consulting to a cybersecurity advisor or a security individual could be a best way out. And you yourself can actually act as a whistleblower to make sure that people who are within the same vicinity, having the same business operation, should be aware about your happenings, and they could be preventively acting, or you can say acting in priority rather than again responding for recover, right? And there is something called cyber resilience goals. So focus on 5 goals. This is crafted by SEBI also. This is crafted by certain and accepted by SEBI as it is. That is evolve, recover, contain, withstand, and anticipate. Evolve means continuously improving your cyber defense mechanisms. So nothing has happened as of now. You are on a luckier side, but nothing will happen tomorrow. You are in a misconception side. Make sure restoration of your incidents is important, and for which a BCP, business continuity planning, is the criticalest part which organization misses. Contain yourself, that is limit the cyber incidences. What sir has recently been said, that there was a cyber incident happened within his own office of around 85K, and what sir has immediately said that please switch off your phone. So that means if something is happening, rather than seeing that thing happen and then reacting it later on, the best part is that disconnect your phones, disconnect your devices from the internet, could be the best way out. So internet becoming the only medium for problems, and this is the only medium for business operations as well. So disconnecting from the permanent basis is not possible, but at the time of incident happening, disconnection is important. So it's like when you put up in your office that when the fire erupts, there is the fire extinguisher. So you should also say in your office that whenever there is a cyber attack, that's the router or that's the internet which needs to be blocked on the immediate basis. So this is also being a part of the training mechanism which has to be conducted on the regular basis. So make sure cyber awareness is critical, and every organization today should put effort into spreading the right cyber awareness, if not on a frequency basis, at least twice in a year within your own ecosystem. Then withstand, that is maintain operations during the cyber attacks also, and that diminishes the intentions of attacker that they have conducted something which has stopped your business operations. So also make sure that your business should keep on continuing. The morale and the enthusiasm and the demand of the attackers and the confidence of the attackers go reduces. So withstand your attack, continue your business operation so that your clients are satisfied, and you can demotivate the attackers mindset also. Then anticipate, foreseeing, the preventing potential cyber attack, and this can only happen when you are having a peer learning ecosystem within yourself. Share the incidences and the control mechanism which can help out not only you but others also, right? So because my timeline is very limited for about an hour or so, I only talk about that next 5 years are going to be the biggest challenge. if my understanding or my research could be taken as a fact, although I do not want that to happen, but that will happen. So 2028 onwards, the biggest of the cyber problems in the country are going to come up. We are going to have plethora, and you can say the tsunami of cyber attacks coming up. So these are the 5 just suggestions for you. Elevate your cyber risk governance, make up policies of cyber controls, make up policies of cyber risk, and make sure that every vulnerability should be covered up in a systematic manner. Your infrastructure investment has to be there. Although from the facts and figure, we have just seen that from 17%, it has reduced to just 4% of awareness related expenditures. So reduction is not the justification. You have to increase the investment or infrastructure investment of training. Make sure if you yourself are not able to do something, you can go for consolidation, that is framing up a group and outsourcing the risks and issues. Cover up the talent and gap. So at least that what we have already discussed, a training mechanism has to be happened. This is the these kind of webinars are actually going to serve your purpose. And evolve yourself regularly of the threat mechanism which may come up. Right. So that's over from my side. Fine, but controls, there is a list, there is a huge bundle of control which can be implemented. And I would be very happy to organize or being a part of some sort of practical sessions wherein we can only focus on one day on phishing attacks, on one day on firewall configuration, on particular day on anti-malware selection installation. We've just started a journey for which I'll be very thankful for DAP Chairman sir and Arpit ji recently joined. So him also, along with my co-trainer for you today, Pranay sir, to take this entire journey forward from here. So thank you very much.
Great, Saurabhji. Thank you very much. I think a very, very informative and a very, very live program. And I'm sure as and when we go ahead, all of these concepts will mature and probably people will be in a better shape to even understand and grasp it and then implement it as well. Quickly taking some questions, Saurabh.
Sure.
One is how does VPN help in data protection? Do you think VPN works well?
Sir, both the ways out. See, this is the network which is being hidden, which is not being shared, which is not being open to everyone. So VPN is being used within the organization to safeguard your data because that is not a public domain. It says it's a closed domain. Fine. At the same time, VPN is also used by attackers because they also bypass their identification through VPN only for organizing a particular targeted attack for you. So
Absolutely.
it's both way out. So every sword has both the edges, sir. So
Mhm.
VPN can be treated for both, but yes, my take is that whenever you have an organization which is more than 7 or 8 individuals, it is recommended to have a VPN within your own company so that your internal data is circulated within the organization, not being openly disclosed on the public network.
Very good. I think that is a very, very essential thing. One should invest in a good VPN plan, and that would help you from a lot of phishing attacks and a lot of, so these most of these attacks are not targeted, they're just random. And probably they just land just like, a missile which is just thrown, it may land on your roof sometimes. So that's how it is. So I think a VPN can therefore definitely help. Can an insurance claim be disallowed due to pure IT security environment?
As of now, no, sir. But yes, when it comes to digital security, yes, if your IP credentials are being exposed intentionally by you, yes, the insurance claim could be stopped. But as of now, most of the bodies connected to IRDA for a regular insurance, they are not denying it out.
No, so for example, so you mentioned, there are now insurance products against, that'll help you against your,
Yeah.
cyber attacks, for example.
Correct.
So
Digital insurance.
yeah, digital insurance, right? So for example, what are the prerequisites of, do they insure just randomly, or do they want, are there riders कि नहीं आपने ये insurance लिया तो you'll have to ensure these things are followed, otherwise, we may just
Right, sir. It is very similar to the fact that if you are taking a life insurance, there is
yes.
certain
So
sort
you
of
should have
things.
stopped smoking and not this
Right.
and diabetes and all of
Right.
that. तो वैसा
Right.
riders इसमें भी आता है?
Yes, आते हैं, sir. And some of the riders could be that you should have an anti-malware software. So as of now, the rider check is very specific check. They are not very stringent. So they read a anti-malware software which has to be licensed for you. So you have to submit your license anti-malware purchase report, which is valid. Fine, you have to submit that yes, you have a firewall and a configured firewall. Although you may not configure it later on, that's your internal issue. But if the threat happens and your firewall is not being found updated, then your insurance claim can be disregarded by them. So primarily while giving the insurance, there is few checks, but that is giving the insurance. But during that period of insure of yours, the regular upgradations of your own security mechanism is your duty, sir. Because if something goes wrong and you are openly circulating your IP address, as you have said, so I have asked Arpit Kavraji's IP address and he has shared his server IP address, trusting on me, but I have used that particular credential of yours to bypass. In that case, if the insurance claim is claimed by you and they found that your IP address was compromised, they can
Compromise,
disregard your
yes.
claim.
Okay, got it. Got it. And how do you protect against this? Like, for
That
example,
IP masking should be there.
IP masking.
So IP
That's
addresses should not be shared primarily if you are
Mhm.
using certain ways in which, suppose, there are platforms in which you open up your servers to someone,
Mm.
right? Which are like, Pranay sir, if I'm not wrong, there are multiple platforms which are used by chartered accountant for server
Yeah,
sharing and all.
yes, sir, exactly, sir. And today we'll cover, sir, this one. We had taken this part
Acha.
also. We'll cover,
Okay,
sir.
great. Great. So I think we are gonna hear about this now. Already people would be excited now कि जो question पूछ रहे हैं वो आप लेने वाले हो. Last quick question. So suppose if Pranay ji has initiated an attack, for example, on one of my systems, okay, while investigation, can he replace his IP with yours? And you are a very dear friend of mine. And can he do that, to mislead the investigation that, actually it was Saurabh's IP, just like you said in the earlier example, if, IP is compromised. So come what may, if he has come into your premises or he has come into your, I don't know, however, but can that happen?
Sir, that is known as IP spoofing. Now, IP
Spoofing.
spoofing can
Okay.
happen. So I'll tell you what, sir. I hope you have seen a movie, A Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes.
A Wednesday, in
So
which
he was,
Nasruddin Shah keep
yeah.
on switching over the IP and his identification is not being shared. So IP spoofing could be done, sir, but primarily your device itself has an identification which is known as serial identification. So that
Okay.
means very similar to fact, sir, you can switch off or you can change your mobile number to change your SIM cards, but your IMEI number will remain the same. So similarly, your IP address may switch over, but your device ID will remain the same. So if a cyber forensics expert have the capabilities, IP spoofing could be the just a primary mechanisms to derail the investigation. But if the IP or the device address can be identified, you cannot bypass the IP spoofing or you cannot use the IP spoofing. But that is possible, sir. That is possible, and for which that's what I'm saying. IP masking should be done whenever you are sharing your IP in the public domain.
Amazing, massive. Wow, wonderful. Saurabh, thanks a lot. I think, it's a very informative session. You've set up the tone, and I'm sure with Pranay now coming in, I think we'll get a lot of things to hear. And imagine all the chartered accountants, all the family, friends who are here now. Please understand what we're talking is not just sci-fi, not just fiction, but it is real. Imagine a situation where you now enter into an office for auditing, and the first thing, usually we create a master file. The first thing now that you ask in a master file is, please tell us your FNA accounts people IP addresses. We want to know that. We want to see whether they are working in a good environment. We want to see whether they have been attacked or not. And with Kaspersky, maps that Saurabh showed, what if one of those lights that we saw on the map was coming from your client's office or your office? I think that is what, I mean, auditing will become a very interesting space now, with all of these questions being asked. And of course, these are the questions which are our domain. No one stops you if you are a DISA qualified. And of course, if you are with DAB, the Digital Accounting Assurance Board, you are actually fit, eligible, and capable to ask these questions, to work in this domain, and probably provide solutions to your clients, to your ecosystem through these domains. So that's DISA for you, that's information standards system auditing for you, and that's FAFD for you. Now, with these words, let me invite Pranay ji. Pranay ji, we've had a wonderful time already. Without further ado, I request you to please embark on your journey, enlighten us with what are you thinking we should do in our CA offices, right? So that we can protect, and we can also showcase that we are so smart. Just like we did GST, we can do now cyber security, we can do now cyber forensics, and charge some good fees. Over to you, Pranay ji.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, sir, and thank you for inviting me. So thank you, Soro, sir, too. You also have covered multiple points. Even I was not aware about some tools which I had discussed. So thank you, sir, once again. So moving ahead, basically, I'm going to cover all about, we can say, the cyber hygiene tools and tactics which we are supposed to follow. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Pranaji,
Okay,
yes.
sir. Yeah, perfect, sir. Perfect. So just a minute, sir. Yeah. So once again, moving ahead, basically today I'm going to cover about the how we can build a trust in accounting through this cyber hygiene tactics. So I will be going for more, we can say, the kind of practical aspects, how we can sure about the email security, because recently sir has covered that attacks surface is really important. So what I will do basically, I will cover about the attack surface and how kind of we can say the platforms which are being misused by the criminals, how criminals target your emails, how we can say fraudster they are targeting your systems, your handles on social media, and how to prevent them. So I will try to cover all this aspect in the practical manner. So moving ahead, basically because usually I always go for the disclaimer first, because for the entire my next this 1 hour session, I'm going to cover kind of multiple tactics. I will be name multiple kind of I will say tools and tactics. So this document is only for education awareness purpose. So neither the author means me nor anyone's any ways for action. Now, sir and ma'am, you might be thinking that why I have taken this slide, because I am also going to cover about the email security. And as what I've seen that nowadays every CA professionals they are using email as the primary source of communication. So you all are supposed to include such kind of disclaimers, such kind of notice also in your email header. Because whenever I see emails now, I never found this kind of disclaimers are being added in your emails too. So I will also try to cover, I will try to show you in the practical aspects how we can make this one and how we can draft this one. So moving ahead, that all this content I have taken from multiple reports, report from multiple government departments, reports from CRT, certain reports from I can say kind of SEBI, RBI, and all from multiple sources. So let's move ahead and discuss about the kind of things which we are going to discover. So our agenda basically, first of all, we'll discuss about the need of topic, and then I will jump into the part of introduction, and then what are the main threats in the accounting profession. So I will try to focus mainly on the accounting profession, because the cyber industry is a big industry. So I will try to cover the major threats which are there in the accounting industry and how we can minimize such threats. And then at the last, I will try to cover about the key certification, because it's a learning process which we are supposed to go through. And as said by also by the officer, that we should go for DISA, FFAD, why all these things are required. So I will try to cover also about the key certifications. Moving ahead, sir, ma'am. Now let's discuss about the need of topic. Why we need to discuss this topic, why we are supposed to spend our, you can say, 2 hours for this entire session. So please check this wagon wheel, the wagon wheel of internet per 60 seconds. And I always say the wagon wheel of internet per minute. You will find that around 18 million SMS are being sent globally in just a minute. On YouTube, more than 4.3 million videos are being viewed. On App Store, so many apps are being downloaded. On Instagram, on this X, Snapchat, Google, Netflix. Means we can say in short that the role of technology is increasing day by day. The role of technology is increasing minute by minute. Sir and ma'am, you can recall also your practice. Now things are, we can say, getting totally in the form of, we can say, the tech-based ecosystem. Now everywhere we are using all this kind of technology gadgets. We are using tools. We are using Wi-Fi connections. We are using smartphone, tablets. Means we can say in short, the role of technology is increasing minute by minute. But as the role of technology is increasing, the cyber crime, the cyber fraud, the hacking, spying, all these things are also increasing minute by minute. You can just refer any kind of reading newspaper. You will find these are the common news. You can see this particular, we can say, from the PMO handle, this was posted that India has witnessed more than 10 crore cyber attacks since Pahalgam strike. Now see, think about it. Now, the future, we can say, the kind of wars will be mainly on the cyber wars. And to whom they are targeting? They are mainly targeting to the, we can say, the kind of sector which is there in India. And as said by also by Saurabh sir, that now they are targeting basically BFSI. They are being targeted. And then we also have the service industry. So when you talk about the industry which is on this domain, we found that CS are also being targeted. And in India, you will find that we have lost more than 2,845 crore rupees just last year. Now see about the jump which is there. Now, because all we can say this kind of crime, fraud, and all these things are increasing now, and each time they use different modus operandi. Now, because this is the time when we are getting this income tax refund. So what they are doing? So now they are targeting through SMS. They are targeting through multiple SMS. They are dropping multiple SMS in this kind of formats. And what they are asking for? Just to click. Sir and ma'am, you will find that these are the few common tactics which are being misused by the cyber criminals, the cyber fraudster, and the hackers. What they are doing? They are just keep posting this kind of messages on your number, which is there already with them, also on WhatsApp, and sometimes they share these links also on the emails. So what we are supposed to do, we'll discuss later on. But let me ask you one question. Can we say that the crime is a business? Can we say committing a crime is a business or committing a fraud is a business? So, sir and ma'am, it's a big business. There are so many websites, there are so many portals where you can easily rent a hacker, you can easily rent a criminal, and just hire them and pay them some kind of money, pay USD or Bitcoin, and then they can do whatever you want. So our first learning from this one is, sir and ma'am, we are not supposed to open any website which is ending with .in. Our first learning from this particular, we can say, by this session is we are not supposed to open any kind of hyperlinks which we are getting and the domains which are ending with .in. Because as previously said by Na, also by Dayasef, that some of her colleague lost amount na, might be possible she has clicked on any website which was ending with .in extension. So, sir and ma'am, first of all, we are not supposed to open any website or we are not supposed to click on any kind of, we can say, hyperlinks which are ending with .in. Usually what we have .org, .gov, this kind of domains are there. So we are not supposed to open any website which is ending with .in. First learning. Now, in fact, the criminals, they do have their own kind of, we can say, menu card. You can see here. And that's why I always say, sir and ma'am, we are supposed to follow these cyber hygiene practices. It's now because the criminals, they do are using this kind of menu card and they are providing this kind of services, we can say, everywhere. And also in India, you will find there's so many forums where this kind of offerings are being there and one can easily rent a hacker for destroying any kind of applications. Now, why this is a big concern? Because it might be possible that the rivalries can damage any businesses. Sir and ma'am, we do have multiple examples where we have seen that how we can say this kind of hackers, they are targeting the critical businesses. Now they are being targeting the businesses, they are targeting the professionals, and even they are targeting the professionals also. So, sir and ma'am, now this kind of offerings are known as fraud as a service, crime as a service. So this, we can say, things are there, and that's why we are supposed to follow the cyber hygiene best practices. We are supposed to follow the best practices in the cyber security. And now what impact it can create on business? So it can lose you, the kind of financial loss can be there. It can also damage any kind of reputations. We can have also kind of, we can say, legal and regulatory issues. IPR issues can also be there. Customer, we can say, the kind of trust and loyalty also can be lost. And the most important, your operation disruption can also be there. Trust me, now this ransomware, they are disrupting your operations. We have seen example from supply chain industry, from multiple, can say, the kind of industries where now their operational disruptions can also be, can say, been impacted with this kind of cyber attacks. And as also discussed by Saurabh sir, that he shows them about that kind of map was there. It was a kind of attack simulation. So, sir and ma'am, now we can also the next victim for this kind of attacks or this kind of crime. So, what we are supposed to do? So, basically, now the common threats which are there in accounting, I will just try to cover the common threats which are there in the accounting profession. The most common one is about the phishing attacks. Means they are sending the kind of malicious emails. Ransomware attack is also the kind of, we can say, the common tactic, common method used by the criminals nowadays, and they are also targeting the CA firms. Ransomware attack, we can say, the kind of attack where they are trying to convert your complete file system, and in fact now they are also encrypting your backups also. So you're also supposed to protect your backup with the multiple types of tactics. We should have a kind of policy in our firm that we are having a kind of good policy regarding backup also mechanism. Then they are also targeting your unsecure network and devices. Sir and ma'am, your laptop, your mobile phone, your Wi-Fi connection, your server, they all can also be targeted by the cyber criminals. So we are also supposed to protect our, we can say, network and also our devices. Now these devices, it mainly include your mobile phone, it include your laptop, all the devices which you are having in your offices, your Wi-Fi routers, all these things. And then we are supposed to follow, we can say, the kind of strong passwords, strong methods for the this kind of mechanism to protect our data. And the last one is about the insider threats, which are also targeting the accounting firm. So these are the, we can say, the common attack surfaces which are being, I will say, the type of tactics which are being misused by the criminals, by the fraudster or by the hackers. And now, what kind of, we can say, the attack surface they are using? So, sir, ma'am, basically they use email, because usually what we do, we all are using emails. So what they are doing, they are targeting your emails. They are sending multiple type of malicious emails, and these emails can contain some malicious hyperlink, some kind of URLs which can compromise your, I will say, your laptop or your handles on social media, anything. So we are supposed to protect our email first. Second, they are targeting your desktops, your endpoints, means all the kind of devices which you are having in your offices or in your firms. And then they are also targeting your mobile phones. So we are also supposed to protect our mobile phones. And then, sir and ma'am, because we are in the year 2025, where the data is a new oil. Always remember, the data is a new oil, the data is a new gold, a data is a new commodity. So we are supposed to protect our, we can say, data also on social media handles, because now everybody is having his image on social media handles. So we are also supposed to protect our account on social media. And at last, what I've seen in the CA firms, that we are relying on the servers. Sometimes we say, sir, that I do have a server in my office. Sir, ma'am, having a server is a different thing. But having a secure server, nowadays we require the secure servers to be there in offices. We are supposed to follow the best practices for this kind of server protections. So these are the common, we can say, the kind of attack surfaces which are being used by the attackers. So now what I will do, I will try to cover every kind of attack surface and how we are supposed to protect each and every aspect. So I will start with the email first. So I will go for the Gmail security. So if you are right now, if you are using an online platform, if you are using a laptop, so I will recommend you to please open your, first of all, your Gmail ID. Similarly, same tactic is there also for Outlook. Same tactic is also there also for your other email handles too. So I will recommend you to please open your email ID first. So right now I'm opening my email ID. So what I will do, first of all, you are supposed to open your email ID first. Sir, ma'am, recently we have seen multiple examples that now the cyber criminals, they are also, we can say, using the multiple types of ads. They are showing you multiple types of ads, and through these ads now, they are targeting your laptop and desktop. So I will recommend you to please use this browser known as Brave. I always recommend it in my every training that please use this Brave browser. Trust me, it's the most safe and secure browser. So you are supposed to browse, we can say, every website or every kind of, we can say, the pages on the Brave browser. Because initially what we do, if we want to connect on the internet, we require an intermediary. We require a browser. So usually what we do, we use Google Chrome, we use IE Explorer, or if you're an iPhone user, you go for Apple or MacBook Safari. But thing is what now, they all are based on the Web 2.0 ecosystem, where they are showing multiple types of ads and sometimes these ads do contain some kind of malicious code, virus, Trojan horse, all these kind of tactics. So what I will do, I will recommend you to please install this browser known as Brave. And you can see on my screen right now that I am using this Brave browser. And till date, it has blocked around 3,26,000 trackers and ads. Now, might it be possible all these trackers and ads which are trying to track my locations, trying to track my data, they might be having some kind of malicious code. So now you can see here that now my machine is protected against this kind of, we can say, issues. So sir and ma'am, I will recommend you to please install the browser Brave. Clear? Second learning is to install the Brave browser while using your kind of technology based ecosystem. So if you are an iPhone user, you can go for Brave. If you're an Android user, go for Brave. And if you're using a laptop also, desktop also, on any kind of environment, on Linux, MacBook, I will say also on Windows, go for Brave. Trust me, sir and ma'am, it's the most safe and secure browser which I have seen, I have tested, and they are going to block multiple types of, we can say, malicious code also in your machine. Clear? First learning is to install the Brave browser. Second learning, we are supposed to open our email, and in email you will find that we have this option known as manage your Google account. You can see right now on my screen that you can see that your name is there, and then we have this option manage your Google account. Sir and ma'am, the email is the most important thing which we are supposed to protect. For cyber hygiene, we are supposed to protect our email first, because 75% of we can say targeted attacks, they mainly come through email. Ransomware also come through email. Phishing also come through email. So we are supposed to protect our email first. Now click on this one, manage your Google account, and now you will find that a complete dashboard will be there. It's your account dashboard. So we are having multiple features here. In this dashboard now, you can see on left side we have multiple options. Option regarding my personal information, data and privacy, and then I have this option security. So you are supposed to click on this security first. You are supposed to click on this security first. Now in this security now, you will find that we are having multiple options. You can see here that first of all, you are supposed to keep this two-step on. Sir and ma'am, during, we can say, the kind of phishing attacks or kind of the attacks done by malwares now, what they do, they compromise your email accounts also. So you are supposed to keep it on. So in this option now, you will find that you are supposed to keep it on. Your two steps should be kept on. Then moving ahead, next thing is what? You are supposed to give all this information there. You are supposed to give your password information. You should change it. You should go for this kind of devices. You should check your number also there. And then you can also give your recovery email. Now, the third thing, you are supposed to check also your devices, because sometimes what we do, we are using the same email ID on multiple devices. Means right now I am using this email ID also in my office, also in my, you can say, kind of other phones. So you are also supposed to check all the devices which are there. And now let's say sometimes you lost your device, sometimes you lost your mobile phone, you lost your laptop. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to click on this one and you can locate your device also. You're supposed to go on this option known as find a lost device, and then you can keep the device safe and secure. So in case of lost device, you can also locate your device through this option known as find a lost device. Now, the most important thing is what? Third party apps and services. Sir and ma'am, as the example given by Daya Sarna, that sometimes these apps, what they are doing, they are collecting all our personal data. I always say one thing, that nothing is free in the cyberspace. If you are not paying for it, you are the product. So why we are giving all this third party access to our email ID? So for that, we are supposed to remove all these third party apps which you are not using. So what you will do? You are supposed to click on this option, see all connections. In this option, all connections, and here you will find all the apps which you are using. So right now I am using all these 12 applications. So you can just check all the applications there which you are using through this email ID. And let's say if you want to disable any kind of application, I will recommend it, sir, ma'am. Sometimes what we do, we use multiple gaming applications also. We use multiple type of applications for this PDF converters, this like of iSlow PDF, small PDF converter. There are so many tools are there. So don't blindly rely on these tools. Usually, I always recommend that whenever you are referring any kind of AI tool, always check the proper policies there, privacy policy of the AI tool there. So usually all these tools I have tested and I found that these are trusted one. That's why I have given access to every tools. Now, in your case, you can just refer all this third party and you can just check all third parties there. And whatever app you want to stop now, just click on the app there and you can click on this stop using that particular applications there. And then you can delete your connections with the particular software or the applications. So in this manner now, what you can do, you can just check all the third-party apps and or services which you are using recently or which you are using from last couple of years. But please make sure that you are supposed to disable every kind of applications, every kind of tools which you are not using, because this can be the big risk for your firm also. If you're an employee, if you're working for any ABC corporation, I will recommend you that we always recommend third party audits. Sir and ma'am, during third party audits, every company says that you are not supposed to use your personal or your official email ID for your personal work. Means if you're working for any ABC company, you are not supposed to use this kind of platforms from your official email ID. So you can also perform this kind of audits through this particular mechanism known as third party apps and services. Moving ahead, the most important thing, you are supposed to keep it on. Enhanced safe browsing for your account should be kept on. Sir and ma'am, usually by default it is kept off. So you are supposed to keep it on. You are supposed to keep it on. Your enhanced safe browsing should be kept on, because it might be possible that if you are browsing, your account is not secure. So you are supposed to keep it on, this enhanced safe browsing for your account. Similarly, you are also supposed to keep this dark web report should be also be on. Now, why we required this report? Because might be possible your data is being leaked or your data is already been breached. So sometimes our data it has been sold in the dark web. A dark web is a kind of platform where all these offensive things are there. So you are supposed to keep this report on, because whenever your data will going to lead and if they're going to sell in dark web, you will get an alert. So you will get an alert from Google itself that we have found your data in dark web. We have found your email ID in dark web. So you are supposed to, we can say, keep it on, and you are supposed to change your password. So whenever your information is leaked and if it is sold in dark web, Google will give you an alert regarding this kind of safety or security. Means you are supposed to, we can say, change your password immediately. So, sir, ma'am, in this manner, you are supposed to maintain the cyber hygiene, first of all, for your email ID first. For your, we can say, email ID, which you are using. You are supposed to keep all these features on. And if you want to go for password manager, you can also go for password manager, depending upon the use cases which you are having. Similarly, now, let's say if you are using any kind of your email ID for your office. Sometimes what we have, I'm having my ID, let's say info at the rate ABC firm or info at the rate ABC corporation. Means sometimes what we have, we are using our own email system. Means we do have a server in our office, and then we are maintaining all this kind of data in my offices on my official email ID. Means we are not using this Gmail ID. We are having our own office in, can say, kind of email IDs. Clear? So for them now, you're supposed to implement this SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. For example, if you're having an email ID like ABC at the rate ABC Corporation, or if you're having an ID like inquiry at the rate ABC.com. So whatever email ID you are having now in your office, sir and ma'am, you are supposed to implement this SPF, DKIM, and this DMARC. These are three things which you are supposed to maintain in your, we can say, email servers. During cyber audits, system audits, we always recommend to every auditor to please do check this SPF, DKIM, and this DMARC. Now, what exactly all this means? Basically, SPF stands for Central Policy Framework, while DKIM, DMARC, they are for the kind of additional security for your emails. Sir and ma'am, you are supposed to ask your that email service provider. You are supposed to ask your email that server provider, that to integrate this SPF, DKIM, and DMARC in your official emails, because only this SPF, DKIM, DMARC can protect your system against the phishing attacks. Even they can also protect your offices against the ransomware attack, because as per my study, usually the phishing attacks and the ransomware attacks, they are targeting basically your email first. Your email is the primary source of, we can say, the target which has been set by the attackers. So you are supposed to integrate this SPF, you are supposed to integrate this DKIM and DMARC in your email server. You can call your ISP, you can call your email provider, you can call your email vendor and tell them to integrate this SPF, DKIM, DMARC in your emails, and then you can protect your email system in your offices. Second, sir and ma'am, the attack vector which has been misused is desktop or endpoint security. So as we have discussed that they are targeting emails, and now secondly, what they do, they targeted your desktop, they targeted your endpoints. Now, sir, how they can target my desktop? How they can target my this kind of laptop and devices? Sir and ma'am, every laptop, every desktop has its own name. Usually we say na, that every person has his own name na. Similarly, every laptop, every desktop has its own name, and you're supposed to check your name also. Now, how to protect your endpoint, how to protect your desktop now? For the same, first of all, you are supposed to change your name. So how to check your desktop name? So you can open this CMD. If you want to go for this one, just open this CMD, means command prompt, and then just write the CMD in the search menu and open this command prompt, and then run as a administrator and give access like yes. You will find that this window will be there, known as system 32. And here you are supposed to write a command host name. Host name. Now, what does it mean? Host name means the name of your desktop, the name of your laptop. You are supposed to give a host name. And sir, ma'am, remember, if you are having a host name like CA, let's say CA Pranay Chauhan, or you are having a name like Pranay Chauhan PC, or let's say if you're doing also audit, so manager PC, bank manager PC, you should not use this kind of, we can say, names. Your name should be unique and it should not reflect your actual name. Why? Because, sir, ma'am, whenever a criminal, whenever a attacker or a fraudster, whenever they are targeting this kind of, we can say, machines now, what they do, they always look for this kind of names, like name related to the organizations. Let's say you are having a name like CA Pranay Chauhan. So now it reflects that the Pranay Chauhan he's a CA, and now he might be having some kind of useful information or a useful data. Sir, ma'am, you are supposed to change this kind of practice. So please do change your name, do change your machine name, do change your laptop name. Because as per the guidelines given by RBI also, SEBI also, and also by the IIDI, your machine, your assets must have a name. But please do remember, your name should be different one. It's not like manager PC or we can say banking PC, because now if the name is like this one now, it can be easily targeted by the criminal and the attackers. So try to use a different unique name. You can see right now in my name, my in my machine, my name is desktop 8397064. So you are supposed to go for this kind of abbreviations. Don't use your, we can say, the name, your firm name or your office name or your names in this one. First, in the desktop security. Moving ahead. Similarly, now, when we talk about the antivirus now, usually what we say that go for antivirus, go for anti-malware. Sir, ma'am, I always recommend during my trainings now, don't go for this kind of antivirus. Don't purchase antivirus. Rather than purchase EDR. It will not cost you more than 1,000 or 2,000 rupees per device. I always recommend it in my every training now that please don't purchase this antivirus. What you can do, other than go for this endpoint. Now the time has gone when we recommend antivirus. Sir, ma'am, the system need now EDR devices. Now we need DLP devices. Trust me, During compliances also, I'm also doing the audits for these firms now. During compliances also now the industries, now the bodies, they want EDR devices. RBI is going to cancel your, we can say, license if you don't have this EDR devices. Sir, ma'am, now you are supposed to install these EDR devices in your office, in your firm. Because what I've seen now, that if you are having a firm of 5 or 10 professionals now, I will not recommend to go for these firewalls, because the cost of firewall will more than 70 to 2,000 rupees, sir. I will not recommend to go install this firewall, because if you have budget, you can go for firewalls. They are the good ones. But if you don't have budget, sir, ma'am, go for this EDR. Trust me, it is far better in compared to antivirus. And in fact, you can also take control of your office too, because we know that we in an offices we are having multiple employees are there. There are so many articles also there in offices, and sometimes might be possible that your articles or your employees, they are also using this kind of platforms for like free downloads, free converters, free softwares. Sometimes it also brings some multiple risk. Sir, ma'am, don't go for this kind of antiviruses, rather than go for EDR. Invest in these EDR devices. EDR stand for Endpoint Detection Response. Trust me, it's far better in compared to antivirus. And similarly, because if you are not using antivirus, I will recommend it. You can use a inbuilt antivirus, which is there in your system. It's called MRT, malware removal tool. So what you can do, just same, you are supposed to open same command prompt. In the same command prompt, you are supposed to write MRT. Now, what does it MRT mean? MRT basically stands for malicious code removal tool. We call them as a malware removal tool. You can see here, I just written MRT, and now I will go for this option next, and I can go for full scan. It's a inbuilt kind of, we can say, malware removal tool which is there in your machine. So I always recommend it to every professional. Please scan your machine with this MRT tool, which is, it is there in your laptop, it is there in your machine. And then for this kind of external security, go for EDR. Don't buy antivirus, rather than go for EDR devices and protect your organizations. You can see here right now it has started scanning all my kind of devices and files. So, sir, ma'am, because of time constraint, I'm just going to cancel it. So, what you can do, you can just write MRT, and you can protect your machine against this kind of malicious code. So, for your device and for your endpoints, what we can do, we can use this kind of tool known as MRT, and we can protect our organizations against this kind of features. And then we can say, in case of work, you can go for this during your audit also. You can use all these logs, because these EDR devices, they are also going to give you multiple types of control access. Means you can control your traffic, you can control your articles machines, you can also take control of your employees also. Means you can have full control with these EDR devices. So you can just install these EDR devices. You can check, there are so many tools are there in market. You may go for any kind of tool which is under your budget, and you can install it. EDR, endpoint detection and response. So for your desktop, it is a well one. Second, EDR will not only going to protect your desktop and laptop, it is also going to protect your Wi-Fi network too. Because as said by Daya Sarna, that the Wi-Fi's are the important thing, because nowadays every office is having a Wi-Fi devices. We have this access point in our offices. So we are supposed to protect also that Wi-Fi devices, because now your laptop is having, let's say, this kind of tools are there. But what about your mobile phones? What about your Wi-Fi devices? What about your tablets if you're using? What about other gadgets? If you're having a smart TV also in your offices, what about their safety, their security? So for that's why what you can do, you can configure this EDR, and now EDR will take control of your full network, of your full kind of system against this kind of malicious activity. Clear? Similarly, now I also add this one. If you want to do the audit of your Wi-Fi, if you want to test about your Wi-Fi security, that your Wi-Fi is safe or not. So what you can do, you can just download this app known as Fing. This is the app available on the Android phone, also on the, we can say, the App Store. Just download this app known as Fing on your mobile phone, and connect your mobile phone with your Wi-Fi. Just download this app in your mobile phone, and then connect your mobile phone with your Wi-Fi. Sir, ma'am, you can take the complete audit of your Wi-Fi too. You can discover all the devices which are using your Wi-Fi. Means you can check all the devices which are there in your network. Sir, ma'am, usually all this malicious code, this ransomware, phishing attack, phishing attack, spear phishing, DOS attack, DDoS attack, SQL injection, SQLI, there's a huge list is there. What they do, they all targeted basically your network first. So we are supposed to protect our network. So what you can do, you can download this app, you can connect this app with your network, and you can discover all the devices which are there. Even it can also discover your cameras also, because nowadays our offices are also having this CCTV camera. So you're also supposed to protect this camera, and you can discover all the devices which are there. You can protect your network, you can protect your system through this application known as Fing. Usually, we also simulate this application during our audit training, during our course DISA. So what you can do, you can just download this app, connect this your Wi-Fi with your application, and then scan your network. Trust me, you can perform the complete analysis of your network and remove all devices which are not in use. You can also remove all the network devices from your network through this platform known as Fing. It's a perfect tool for your Wi-Fi security. Clear? So what you can do, you can download this app, connect this app with your network, and scan your network with this app known as Fing, and you can remove all these kind of things which are not in use. So it's a perfect application, perfect tool for your Wi-Fi security. Similarly, because the example given by Sarna, that somebody has lost her amount, so I always recommended, sir, ma'am, that whenever you are using your smartphone, so if you're an Android phone user, I will recommend it to install this app known as M Kavach 2. M basically Kavach is M stand for mobile. Kavach means defense. We Hindi say na Kavach. Kavach means defense. So M Kavach 2 na, it's an app given by CDEC Hyderabad. Now CDEC is the government entity, huh? So the app given by CDEC Hyderabad known as M Kavach 2. What you can do, just download this app in your mobile phone. Whenever you are doing any kind of work now, and you find things are suspicious, what you can do, you can scan your mobile phone with this app known as M Kavach 2. Trust me, it's not an antivirus, it's not an anti-malware, it's a kind of a protection for your complete devices. It's a kind of a threat analyzer. This app will give you all the risky applications which are there. This app will give you all the risky nodes which are there. This app will protect your mobile phone against the multiple types of security threats. So what you can do, if you're an Android phone user, just download this app M Kavach 2 and scan your mobile phone. This will protect all the kind of issues, all the risk coming from third party elements, coming from third party sources. It can be easily removed, it can be easily verified. And usually we also use the same application during mobile app audit, because sometimes nowadays, as per the RBI compliance, now every company is supposed to also go for mobile app audits. So we also recommended these platforms during mobile app audits. This what kind of data these apps are accessing. So if you want to test any kind of application, that what kind of data they are accessing in your phone, you can go for this M Kavach 2. Let's say I am using Facebook. So I know the Facebook is accessing my data. But now the face, because as per the DPDP Act now, as discussed by also by Saurabh sir na, that we are going for this DPDP Act, sir ma'am. So in DPDP Act, you are supposed to check also about this data minimization. So let's say Facebook is there. So now Facebook is supposed to follow this compliances given by Indian government under the DPDP Act. So Facebook is supposed to collect only data which they are required. So how to check this one? Using this M Kavach, you can also take the audit of this kind of applications, that what kind of data they are accessing from your mobile phone. So this is not only for your mobile security, this can also be helpful for your audit work also. So for mobile app audit, you may also go for this M Kavach 2, a perfect tool given by Indian government for this kind of activities. Next attack surface, sir ma'am, which the target is social media handles. Your accounts on social media like Facebook, WhatsApp, they are also being targeted by the criminals. Sometimes I found multiple types of this status. What's the status? That my phone is compromised. Please don't give any money. Sir, ma'am, what they are doing, they are targeting your handles on social media. So for that, you are supposed to have the policy known as social media policy in your offices. Now, how to make it? For that, you are supposed to follow all the controls which are there, because usually these are common tactics which are being used by the criminals. They send this kind of APK files. So, sir, ma'am, you are not supposed to download any file ending with .apk. If you're an Android phone user, don't download this file ending with .apk. Next, for WhatsApp. So for WhatsApp, what we'll do, once again, we'll go for the simulation. So please open your handle on WhatsApp. Please open your handle on WhatsApp, your account on WhatsApp. And now in WhatsApp, you will find we have the multi options there. So click on privacy first. Sir, ma'am, open your settings and then click on the privacy first. In privacy, first of all, you will find an option known as calls. Because, sir, ma'am, nowadays now we are getting so many complaints that, sir, our phone is compromised, our machine is compromised. So usually, in case of WhatsApp, what they do, they use fake WhatsApp numbers, they use fake WhatsApp calls. So what you're supposed to do, you are supposed to block all the calls. So what we can do, we are supposed to open the privacy. In the privacy, we have this option known as calls. So now click on this option calls there, and in calls it might be possible that it is disabled in your case. Sir, ma'am, you are supposed to keep it on. You're supposed to keep it on. You're supposed to keep this silence unknown caller on. Now, why this is required? Because now let's say if somebody is calling you and they are the fraudster, because now the WhatsApp has their own centralized database. WhatsApp is having a database of all the fraudster, all the, the criminal, all the numbers which they are being reported. So now WhatsApp, what they are doing, WhatsApp is also leveraging AI. They are having this kind of AI-based ecosystem where they will not forward any calls, any numbers which are done by the fraudster. So now, from today onwards, if you enable this one now, you will not get any kind of fraud calls. You will not get any kind of malicious phone calls coming from the fraud number, coming from the malicious number. And the number which you have not saved, you will get now missed call. You will get now missed call. So now let's say if you don't have my number and I am calling you on your WhatsApp number now, so you will get only missed call, and then you are supposed to call them back. So in case of WhatsApp now, this feature will, we can say, protect your WhatsApp account now from multiple types of malicious phone calls, multiple types of numbers which are being on the this kind of WhatsApp. So what you can do, just enable it. And in case of this missed call, you can call them back because they are the genuine ones which you're going to get. Okay, so you're supposed to keep it on. This which should be kept on. Second, you will find on the same page, you will find on the same privacy tab, you will find an option known as advanced. So, sir, ma'am, on the same page, you will find an option known as advanced. So click on this option advanced, click on this feature advanced, and now you are supposed to protect your account from unknown kind of this messages. So this feature will protect your account from your this kind of messages which you're getting from the spam numbers. So you are supposed to keep it on. So what I will do, I will recommend you to keep it on. Your block unknown account message should be kept on. Second, you're also supposed to protect your IP in calls, because right now, sir was discussing about the VPN. So sometimes now VPN, what basically VPN does? VPN mainly protect your privacy. VPN mainly provide you the kind of tunnel. It's called tunnel, means a private network from your machine. Sir, ma'am, what you can do? You can go for this kind of feature. It should be enabled. Your IP must be well protected. So now nobody can track you. Nobody can locate your IP addresses. So what you can do? Just drag it and put it on. So you can protect this IP address also in calls. The third feature is about the link preview. So I will not recommend to go for this one, but if you want, you can also go for this option. But sometimes we receive this kind of hyperlinks. Let's say Zoom links are being shared on WhatsApp now. So if you are going to click it on, then we are supposed to disable it. So I will not recommend to go for this one. So depending upon your the kind of working, if you want, you can also keep it on. But I will recommend it to keep the first two features should be kept on. Now, these are the common hygiene practices which we are supposed to follow on WhatsApp. And the most important ones are, ma'am, your two-step verification. Remember what we've done in the this Gmail? Same thing you're also supposed to do also on your WhatsApp also. So just open your account. In accounts, you will find two-step verification. The fourth option, two-step verification. So it should be kept on. Sir, ma'am, you are supposed to keep it on. This is the only feature which is going to protect your account, this account on WhatsApp against the fraudster. So it should be kept on. You should keep this kind of step should be on your WhatsApp. Clear? So in this manner, sir, ma'am, you can set your pin, you can set all this control in your WhatsApp. Clear? And same thing, you will find the same features are there also on Facebook, also on Instagram, Twitter also. So please do check all the constraints on the policy of this privacy. Please do check all the controls on this kind of security features, and please do enable them all, because these are the only methods which can protect my data, which can protect my handles on social media. Clear? Because our, we can say, our complete life, it's e-life, it's there on the this kind of platforms. So we are supposed to protect it with the help of these controls and these tactics. Now, our, we can say, the next model is all about the ransom attacks, because we have discussed a lot about this kind of ransomware. Now, what is ransomware? They will come into your machine, they will disable all the features of the files, they will convert all the file system into the unreadable format. So sir, ma'am, what I will do, I will recommend to every professional that please do maintain backup in the proper manner. So for backup, please follow this rule, 32110 rule. Now what does it mean? Three basically mainly stand for, you should have backup on three places. Two means should have backup at least in two format. Let's say you have a Excel file, so go for CSV also. Your backup must be in two format. What does one mean? One means you should have backup in the physical drive. Sir, ma'am, please do maintain a backup also in the physical drive. And then please do check that your backup is working properly. If you are using a platform like OneDrive, SkyDrive, I always recommend it to please do perform the kind of this recovery process. Means like mock drill process. Please do perform this kind of mock drill. Please do check, because I have seen certain firms that they are relying totally on the cloud-based platform, and in case of this kind of disaster, in case of ransomware, their data was uncovered. They are able to uncover the data, because sometimes now the cloud vendors, they do are following all these tactics. So if you are running on the cloud, please do check the SLA agreements there, service level agreements there on cloud platform. Your SLA must cover this kind of backup rule should be there. Your SLA must cover this RTO and RPO, because these things are very risky for any kind of firms. So don't blindly rely on this cloud platform. Please do check SLA, and if possible, please do maintain one physical drive backup. You can purchase one external hard disk and go for this kind of tactics also for the backup mechanism. So for ransomware, these things are there, because usually they come through email, they come through pen drive. So also please do maintain a policy in your office, not using a pen drive on every machine. Sometimes what we do, we use the same pen drive on every machine. Sir, ma'am, the .rar file and .exe file, they mainly spread mainly through pen drives. So while DSC filing also, now please make sure that you are supposed to connect your pen drive, that device only on the one machine. Don't use the pen drive on multiple machines, because the pen drive or the USB drives, they are the soft sources for this kind of spreading of malicious code. So please don't use this kind of pen drives. If you are using, please try to use only on one machine. Otherwise, the system can be on the big risk. And as we have discussed for the EDR, so if you're using the EDR software, what you can do, you can also give control access on the EDR regarding this USB drive. So plan for this EDR device, connect your machine with the EDR device, and then you can give control also for the USB drives. Means how many devices will be working on the USB itself. So go for this USB and this EDR devices for USB controls. Then also for the websites, so please be cautious while going for these websites, because the ransomware, they mainly come only through this kind of malicious website. So if you have proper backups, if you have proper strategies, if you have proper control, no ransomware can disturb your machine, no ransomware can disturb your system. Clear? So then you can go for this one. And then we also the controls also about the server hardening. So usually what we do for hardening, we always recommend that if you are maintaining a server in your offices, so please make sure that your server should have proper control. So you should supposed to keep your network securely on server. You are supposed to keep all the kind of, we can say, the services should be kept off. So your server must have only that services which you are using. You should keep all the, we can say, things, it should be kept off. All the files which are you are not using should be kept off. Sir, ma'am, all the permissions which you are giving on server, it should be checked properly. Means no authorized user should have access of this server. You are supposed to keep this role-based access model for your server, and no, we can say, kind of users allowed on the servers for this kind of working and this kind of accessing. Clear? So they should not be allowed on this kind of platform. Similarly, you should give a kind of limit restriction to all your administration also. You should give the kind of functions if they are having, if they are using, they should have a kind of limit based restriction should be there. So please do implement this kind of control in your system. Then you're supposed to disable all, we can say, the kind of remote applications, and you should have this remote access security in your servers also. Remote administrator work if it's not needed. Sometimes what we do, we use TeamViewer. I see every CA firm is using now TeamViewer, AnyDesk, UltraViewer tool now. What we are giving? We are giving remote access. Sir, ma'am, please disable this remote access on your server mainly. It should be disabled and it should be kept only on when you are giving it kept on. So your device must have this control that it should be kept on only when it is required. And then the most important thing, rename your accounts. Remember, I have shown you also for the host name, you are supposed to also rename your account on this server also, because similarly the attackers, they can do target your machines with the name itself. You are supposed to rename your account on the server. You are supposed to rename your account also on the system itself, because trust me, as per my learnings, what I've seen, these are the 4 or 5 attack surfaces which are being misused by the attackers. Just pick any kind of news, you will find attackers are targeting email, they are targeting your desktop or laptop, they are targeting your servers, they are targeting on social media. So these are the soft attack services which they are using. And then you're also supposed to, we can say, enable the login attempt. Means, let's say if I'm going to log in your account, I will have only 2 or 3 attempts per day. Every account must have a kind of this kind of access. This is called principle of least privilege. As per the RBI audit guidelines, it is called principle of least privilege. Means you are supposed to follow this principle of least privilege. And then please do maintain a strong passwords. So as discussed by Saurabh sir also, you are supposed to maintain a policy known as password policy. Maintain a strong password. Don't save passwords in your browser. Try to keep password in the alphanumeric character, and please do change password at the interval of time. And then you can keep your machine safe in this manner. You are supposed to do this mechanism, and then you can save your machine in the proper system manner. So in this manner we can do the tactics. Because moving ahead, I have a lack of time. The best practice you can follow, so as discussed by sir also, that we can follow this multi-factor authentications, this MFA, means same thing which we have done right now. Now you are supposed to do this 2 step should be kept on. This 2 step or multi-factor should be kept on every handle, on email, on this accounts on social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you are using. Maintain backup. So remember our rule, 3 2 1 1 0 rule. So maintain backups. Use tools like VeraCrypt, TrueCrypt, BitLocker. So as discussed by Saurabh sir, you are supposed to use this kind of tool to protect your data. And the most important, software update. Sir, ma'am, you are supposed to update your softwares every time, because if you are not updating your software, your system, the machine, then the system can be on the big risk. So you are supposed to always update your software. And then do proper audits regularly of your own premises first, because if you are planning for the client based audit, we are supposed to do audit our firm first. We will also plan this audit for our clients, but before we are supposed to do the audit of our firm first. So please do follow all this kind of tactics, and please do join this kind of webinars. So our DAP usually conduct this kind of webinars daily. So please do join this kind of webinars for learning purposes, and please do join this kind of sessions and do spread this one. So these were references which I have discussed in my entire session. These were the kind of sources which I have taken in my entire session. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And sir, ma'am, as we discussed now, please do follow our channel also on WhatsApp. It's our official channel on WhatsApp. So please do follow this our channel on WhatsApp. Our channel name is Account Insurance Board ICI. You can follow it for this kind of updates. So usually the DAP, we are conducting this kind of webinars for the learning purpose, because learning is the only aspect which we are supposed to follow, because it's a process, because technology is a process. Technology we required to learn all the kind of things now. So please do join this channel, and then you can start learning and exploring all these things. So thank you once again. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is my name. Basically, I'm also a researcher. I'm doing my research. So if you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me on this number, or you can also email me. So thank you, sir, ma'am. Thank you once again. So any questions?
Thank
I'm
you,
there.
sir.
Questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Pranay, sir,
Thank
for
you, sir. Thank you.
such a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm sure all the participants have gained valuable takeaway on data protection and cyber hygiene, sir. Thank you, sir. With
Thank you, sir.
this, we formally conclude today's webinar. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.